Okay, I'm going to really stretch your minds this morning. Imagine it's July in Arizona, and Santa Claus walks up and says, "What do you want for Christmas?" Do you have an answer? Do you just answer him immediately? You know what it is. Your goal is top of your mind that you say, "Yes, this is what I want." Or are you stumped? Or do you deflect by saying something humorous? Well, this has happened this week. We were invited to a Christmas in July party. That's what I said about invitations. Grateful for that. I was invited to a Christmas in July party, and Santa Claus was there, and he was in his Hawaiian shirt and his shorts, and he walked right up and he says, "What would you like for Christmas?" And I said what I always say: consistency in my golf game. And he said, "Well, I don't think I can help you with that." I said, "Well, no wonder I haven't gotten any presents for the past few years, right?" Anyway. But what I realized this week in putting this talk together is that I had said something humorous to deflect saying anything truly deep. My goal. I wasn't mindful in the moment of my burning desire, it wasn't top of my mind. That was the realization that I came to in that moment. So, my talk today is based on our movie Walk, Ride, Rodeo, which we will be showing free after service. We've got some popcorn. You can grab a snack, as Nancy said, and we'll be showing the movie. And it's a wonderful, true story about rodeo rider Amy Snyder. And I chose the movie because it demonstrates the power of our word. It demonstrates for us on screen the power of our word and the fact that life is not always easy. And we can still live in joy. We can still achieve our dreams, even when life gets challenging. My talk is Baby Steps to Living the Impossible. Amy's dream, Amy in the movie, her dream seemed very impossible to everyone, including her for a while. But in the end, she has different plans. She has different plans. Ernest Holmes is the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living. He's also the author of The Science of Mind, which is the philosophy that we teach from. And he says about our teaching, he says, our endeavor is to pass from idle wishing and negatively stating affirmations to a place where we stand side by side with the power greater than we are, as though we were in it and of it. This kind of affirmation admits of no denial, meaning no doubt, right? No doubt. We have to erase doubt in our minds, in our affirmations, in our affirmative prayers. A wish is something we want, right? I wish, oh, wouldn't it be nice if? And mental treatment, spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, all of those things mean the same thing, right? It's our 5-step prayer process that we use. And we have 5 steps because it helps us to get to that place of realization of affirming our good with no doubt. We align with spirit. We recognize God as all. Then we align with that in unity. And when we are so convinced of our unity and our oneness, our wholeness in that, then it's very easy to move into realization and go, of course, that is what's true. Of course, my good exists in my mind, and my mind is shared with the mind of God, so it exists in mine. And I know that the creative process is thought to form. So, of course, my good is existing, and how grateful I am, right? We can move right into gratitude, that expansive emotion. And then we release it because we don't have anything else to do except listen and be aware of the work we do. And we'll see in the movie the work that Amy had to do to achieve her dream. She set an intention, and then she worked her process. Then she worked her process. Holmes is very clear that we should distinguish daydreaming and wistful wishing from affirmative prayer or prayer treatment. And I agree, we should distinguish those two. They're very separate. Wishful thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice thinking, is not affirming our good. So that's what our prayer treatment is affirming and accepting that good. And I think there's a place for daydreaming and wistful wishing in our creative process. And it's when we don't know. What would you like for Christmas? Let me imagine, let me daydream, let me wish a little bit and think about what I might want. It helps us to use this most creative power that we have, the power of our imagination. Would you agree that's our most creative thing we have, our capacity that we have, is to think of things we've never thought of before, to imagine, to allow our imaginations to run free and to come up with the what's next for us, the next creative idea for us. We know that that's where creation begins, is in our imagination. We create from thought to form. So it must be in mind first, and we must think it first. We have a spiritual practice that we call visioning. And visioning allows us to catch a glimpse of the I'm possible, if you will. That is the bigger idea of spirit for our lives. And that we can envision something that we've never experienced before, because that's usually the limit of our imagination. Sometimes we feel limited by, well, it didn't work out last time, so I can't imagine how it could possibly work out this time. And that's not ours to do, right? We don't imagine how, we imagine what. That's a clear distinction. We imagine what, not how. Let the universe worry about that. It's got a lot more abilities and skills and possibilities than we have. We just have to focus on the what. So our imagination allows us to take that vision from visioning or whatever idea we've come up with into the privacy of our own minds, and to daydream and to think about it and to ask, what if I was in a loving relationship? What if I was prospered and felt secure all the time? What if I was a healthy person and I felt strong and vital all the time? And we take that into our mind, we take that into our hearts, we take that into our bodies. We begin to embody that through the power of our imagination without any outside influence saying, you can't do that. Or like last week, no, right? No. Because we have the naysayers in our lives. Does anybody not have a naysayer in their life somewhere that tells us that you don't want to do that? It's too risky. It's too challenging. What if you fail? Oh my gosh. So we don't have that in our minds as long as we don't do it to ourselves, right? As long as we don't do it to ourselves. So our imagination is sort of the creative lab, if you will, for manifesting. It's where we begin to create that mental equivalent that we talked about in our class last week. This week, we're talking about the law of attraction. And it's a 2-hour workshop. It's open to everybody. Starts at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. No, we're going home at 8 o'clock. Starts at 6 o'clock. It's 6 to 8 here, or it's on Zoom, so you can log in from home if you prefer. So, our imagination, though, is how we begin to imagine our thoughts into form. We start in our imagination. We begin to imagine them into form. So what is your vision? What is your dream? What is your goal? What is the intention you set in January for this year? Many authors, Napoleon Hill, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, they all state that we must have a definite purpose, burning desire, right? We must have that burning desire, that top of the mind thing that we want so badly, we desire so badly, we affirm so strongly that we can taste it, right? We can just taste it. We know what it is to have that experience. We've embodied it. Holmes uses words like embody or faith or belief. But what if I just don't know? I don't know what's next. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what direction. You ever felt that way? Yeah, we all feel that way sometimes. The last 2.5 years, a lot of us have felt that way. We see the headlines about people leaving their jobs and large quantities of people, right? To start a new business. Or, like we heard at the home office, they're all working remotely and many of them have left the area. Those are choices, decisions, directions. Okay, I can work remotely. Where do I want to live? I can live any place. Where do I want to live? I don't know. I don't know. So, how are we going to get there if we don't know? Do I start my own business? I don't know. Do I retire? Do I change jobs? I don't know. What's that next step on the path before me? It's not looking very illuminated right now. I need clarity. I need clarity. I think our challenge is that we've gotten used to instant gratification. We're a quick society, aren't we? We're quick. We have in our hands an incredible power. It's our smartphones, and we can look up anything. Who's that actor? I don't know. Let me look. How old is so? I don't know. Let me look. And arguments are settled just like that, right? Because you just look up the answer. It's right there. If I need to know where I'm going, I just ask Siri, give her the address, right? She takes me right there, just dictates to, I don't have to stop the car, open the glove box, pull out the map, figure out where I'm going, figure out where I am, right? Remember those days? Is anybody else old enough to remember those days? Yeah, I mean, we just ask Siri now, and she talks to us and she tells us if we want music, right? Music, directions, instant texting and messaging, FaceTime. It's the Dick Tracy phone we read about in the cartoons when we were growing up, right? Amazing amount of information right in our hands that we are spoiled to. We are spoiled to having that instant gratification of whatever it is we want to know. Many of us have an Amazon Prime account. Amazon Prime is a service that you pay for, and they will deliver your packages usually the next day. Instacart, deliver your groceries in 1 to 2 hours. Now, these are things we pay for, modern conveniences, but they're awesome, aren't they? For time savers. But again, have we gotten a little spoiled to instant gratification? And sometimes we think our prayers should be answered that quickly. Hey, I prayed this morning. Where is it? It's not on my doorstep yet. Where'd it go? Right? We talked last week in mental equivalence about how affirmative prayer will not violate the laws of nature. We can treat and affirm and know beyond doubt that if I drop something, it's going to go up. But the natural law of gravity says it's going to go down, right? And we cannot violate those natural laws, even though sometimes we'd really like them to be, like change the weather. I'm having a picnic, right? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So we need to bear that in mind. I don't know about some of us and some of you. I'm getting older. And as I get older, I realize that it really is about the journey. It really is about the journey because now I have perspective, right? I have perspective that I can look back over the stages of life and see how my thinking changed, how my actions, activities, relationships, everything has changed as I've changed, as I've expanded, learned, and grown throughout life. You know, when we were in school, we had homework. Anybody have homework in school? Yeah. Well, they gave us homework because If they had a teaching methodology of here's a test with the answers, read it, have a nice day, we wouldn't learn anything, would we? We really wouldn't learn anything. So they gave us homework and they showed us examples on the board and they graded our homework and told us where we didn't do it right, so that we could learn and grow. And as we dug for those answers, we learned. And that's the process. That's the process. We have to, it takes time to learn. It takes time to evolve ourselves on this journey. And through study and learning is how we do that. We begin to expand our consciousness. Centers for Spiritual Living teaches spiritual practices. And that's why we teach them, is that we teach you how to think. We give you the tools with which to apply the teaching, but we don't tell you what to think. You can use it any way you want to, right? Any way you want to. We just teach you the difference between negative and affirmative. We teach you how to affirm your good. We teach you how to go within and find God. Our destiny, our destiny is the result of what we think, and changing our destiny begins one positive thought at a time. I love that quote from Holmes, that our destiny is a result of what we think. Because as I look back over that timeline of my life and what I was thinking with these different stages, I see what was manifesting then ahead of that. I can see what I was thinking when I was in my teens and then what happened in my 20s, so forth and so on, right on down the line. So our destiny is dictated by our thoughts, and we can change our destiny tomorrow by changing our thoughts today. Did you like that Katy Perry song and the video that went with it? Did you feel inspired? Touch your heart? Yeah, I did. It shows the power of digging deeper, achieving the goals of having done everything they did to earn the opportunity to be on that stage, to be an Olympian. Of all of the athletes around this planet, those were the best of the best. Those are the ones who are the strongest, who have the ability to keep their dream and their commitment front and center, burning desire to be a world-class Olympian. And they did it. They did it. So why is it so important that we have this burning desire and keep it at the top of our minds? Why is that important? It's so that we make better choices in the moment. So we can tell Santa Claus what we want for Christmas, right? Because we never know when he's going to pop up in July. Yeah. It's so that it stays front of our minds and we make mindful choices, and that everything that we do is in support of that choice, that dream, that desire that we have. Because that's how it's done, right? Is the daily choices change our destiny. So if you are seeking to be a world-class athlete, practice, train, eat well, sleep well, right? You do what you need to do in service to that dream. If it's finances, we're mindful of our spending, we're mindful of our savings, we're mindful of what we're spending money on. We learn about finances and we hire consultants, we make a plan, and then we live by our budget. We align ourselves with the dream, with the desire, with the goal. We align ourselves with it, whatever it might be. Emmett Fox, in his book Mental Equivalence, says we must be interested in it. Are you interested in the topic of your dream or desire? Are you interested in it? If it's relationship, are you interested in that? Are you interested in finance? Many of us, I've heard, say things like, I want more money, but I hate dealing with finances. That's a disconnect, right? The universe hears, I want more money, And then it hears, I hate dealing with finances, and they go, oh, you can't have it. Sorry. We're not in alignment. We're not in alignment. So become interested in it. That whatever your dream or your desire is not a, oh, wouldn't it be nice if? I think a lot of us have those. I have those. I have those. Oh, wouldn't it? It would be nice. I'm not willing to work for that though. Honest admission, there are things that it would be nice to have an athletic body like those people on the screen. It'd be lovely to feel that strong and that good and look that good and be that powerful. I'm willing to do the work. I'm honest with myself, right? I love doing my spiritual practices, being one in the divine in the mornings rather than getting out and hitting the pavement. So, where is your dream? Where is your desire? And are you in alignment with it? Be honest with yourself. Am I in alignment with my dream of what I really want? If we want money, we've got to be interested in it. We can't say, I want more money. No, I'm not participating in the 401k plan that the company matches funds on. Can't afford it. No, I'm not going to hire a financial planner. No, I want that now, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy it on my credit card, and I'll just make payments. We have to be in alignment with all of those decisions, all of that stuff, and it's all those little things that get us off track. Get us off track. Amy Snyder in our movie, interested, committed to her dream. Maybe not at first, as we said, but she gets there. She clearly demonstrates to us there are stages. There are stages that we go through, sort of like the grief stages, right? There are stages after something catastrophic happens in our lives that we go through to get us back on track and back in alignment with living, with joy. At one point in the show, her mom says to her, this chair will either be your wings or it will be your anchor. You decide. You decide. And that decision is ours too, isn't it? It may not be a disability, but it could be a situation or a setback that we're facing. Our evolution, our success. It's up to us to decide, right? Whether it's going to be an anchor or whether it's going to be our wings, that which lifts us up and allows us to fly. The choice is ours. And one of the ways that we can choose is through our practicing the principles that we do each and every week. I give you these every week because for me, if I can't practice these principles in my life and use them on Tuesday night or Thursday morning in a meeting, whatever it might be, it's not a useful practical teaching for me. It's just nice to come and connect in community and hang out with you guys. But when we can apply them in our lives, we can actually use them to transform our lives. And that's why we do our practicing the principles. And I give you the headlines on Sundays, but then on Mondays, I send you a letter, an email. It's called Mindful Monday, and it's a summary of today's talk. And it's available to everybody. You can sign up in the lobby, or if you're online, you can send me an email, and I will add you to the mailing list. And it gives you more detail on the practice we're talking about this morning. And also, it's a summary of the talk today. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can do so website or through the website or in the lobby. All right, number one is give back more. Give back more. This is also a quote from the movie that is, no matter what life gives you, give back more. So if you're currently dealing with an unpleasant situation, whether on the magnitude of what Amy dealt with in the movie or something else, it's still a difficult situation in your life. If you're dealing with that, or if you are remembering something perhaps, or you just want to practice this tool for future use, give back more. If you're dealing with lack of funds, give more. Lack of time, volunteer. If you're dealing with feeling unappreciated at work, give more at work. Give more at work. If you're feeling like a victim, that life is happening to you and not through you, remember that victim energy keeps us stuck in victim energy, doesn't it? We need to move our vibration up out of that. Giving back more elevates us into a higher vibration of gratitude, right? When we're giving, we can feel gratitude for what we're giving, for who's receiving it, how it's being received. So gratitude is a powerful emotion. It elevates us into that. So this week, I want you to think about where you're having or have had in the past faced a tough situation. It could be way back in childhood. It could be last week. It could be something you've observed. It could be something you're in the midst of right now. Think about that and how you can give back more in that area of your life. How you can give back more in that area of your life. Raise your vibration. Become more grateful. And I also invite you to research Amy Snyder. Got a bunch of stuff on YouTube about her experience, who she is now, and how she's giving back now. Number 2, wings or anchor. Whenever we encounter a challenge, now or in dealing with events of the past, maybe it's healing an old wound, we get to choose our wings or our anchor, don't we? Am I going to let this old situation from 42 years ago drag me down? You're dragging an anchor. Or am I going to allow it to transform me so that I fly higher and beyond it? In Amy's case, it was her chair, the wheelchair. In ours, it may be something less dramatic, but just as challenging to us. I remember Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. So consider this week what obstacle you're allowing to be in the way rather than the way. What obstacle are you allowing to be in your way rather than the way? Number 3 is mindful choices. No matter what your goal is, your dream, we need to make mindful choices about it in our life. Train like an athlete. This week, I want to invite you to use your journal and create a plan. Create a plan for yourself that allows you to make mindful choices in that area of life that your dream is in. If it's financial, become interested in finance, budgeting, saving, investing. If it's romance that's on your mind instead of finances, you might look at dating sites. You might imagine what you might be doing on Friday night. If I was in a loving relationship on Friday night, I'd be doing this. Use your imagination. If it's health, how would you live if you were a healthy and vital person? How would you eat? How much sleep would you get? What type and how much exercise? This is the concept of acting as if. Acting as if we have already achieved that which we've set our mental equivalent for. This helps us to embody it more. We have to make space in our lives also, don't we? If our life is completely full, our schedule is completely booked, we have no room for anything new to come forward. So we have to make room. If our closets are overcrowded and falling out on the floor, we don't have room for any new clothes or new relationship perhaps in our life if that's what we're seeking. If we have all of our credit cards overextended, we have no room for any more good to flow to us because we're already indebted for everything else that we have, right? So it's important to recognize where we're cluttered in our lives, in our minds, in our physical space, and how that's impacting what it is we have set our goal to be in alignment with. Are we in alignment in all areas of that part of our life we're trying to improve? Build a training plan and make more mindful choices in the direction of that dream. So we know we live in a field of infinite possibilities, right? Deepak Chopra calls it the field of pure potentiality. And from that field, we get to choose. That's the gift of life that we have received, is the ability to choose and to direct the law of our lives. But we must choose responsibly, and we must be committed, right? We must be committed to that dream and that choice. We must have the discipline, both physical and spiritual, if we're going to ultimately experience the good that we desire. Doing our spiritual work, having the physical discipline to take the actions necessary to support that area of our dream or desire. So I'll close this with an Ernest Holmes quote. He says, "The universal mind contains all knowledge. It is the potential ultimate of all things. To it, all things are possible. To us, as much is possible as we can conceive according to law." Again, we can't violate the law. "Should all the wisdom of the universe be poured over us, we should yet receive only that which we are ready to understand." Much like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's all available to us, but we can only receive what we are ready to understand. And this week I'm inviting us to expand our understanding so that we can receive more. So it is. Would you join me for a prayer? As we go within, we recognize this infinite power and presence that is God, that has made manifest all that is, including us, and that we are made manifest of that one substance, that one source, that one love. And we therefore are in its likeness and its image, meaning that we create the way Spirit creates, from thought to form. We manifest through the power of our word, through the power of our thoughts. And so as I recognize this unity and the fact that we are in one with all that is, with that higher power, that ultimate power of the universe, that ultimate love, I speak my word for each of us as we step into this teaching, into this message this day, recognizing that we're all possible. We live in this infinite field, and that whatever our heart's desire and dreams are, that we have the ability to call those forth, to call those forward into our dreams, whether it is more peace and love, more health, more joy, more harmony in our lives and the lives of all those around us, for everything that we dream and wish for ourselves, that we pray and affirm, we include everyone around our planet. And so I know this day, for anyone that has anything on their heart that they are seeking prayer around, as they lift that into this prayer, that this community holds them in their light and in their love, knowing the affirmative manifestation of whatever that need is, whether it is clarity, whether it is healing, whether it is financial flow, love, joy, peace, whatever the need is, we as a community hold the light, hold the love for its manifestation. And how grateful I am to know the way it works, and to know the love in this room that holds each of these beloveds. I'm grateful for the manifestation of this prayer as I release it into the action and activity of law, knowing that it is done, it is so. We allow it to be, let it go, and affirm this truth by saying, and so it is.